evening, all, and welcome to another edition of this podcast. My name's Adam Deval, the mental health warrior, and we're here to get people's stories heard and end this stigma finally. I am joined for the very first time because I have been after my guest for months to come onto the show, and I've finally got all my claws into it to come on. Not literally. Anthea, she's gonna kill me if I get this wrong. Anthea Morphitis.
Yay! You got it spot on. Perfect.
Fantastic.
Love it.
Now, she did send me a bio, and it was a pretty long, detailed bio, but I haven't got it in front of me. So that's where I've fallen on that one. So, all I've got to say is welcome, Anthea.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's nice to connect with you again.
You are most welcome. Now, obviously, we did meet in a writing course. We're talking what, about three, maybe even, about 2, maybe 3 years ago now, wasn't it?
I think it was, 3 years ago. I think you're right.
About 3 years ago. And obviously for everyone that's going to be tuning in tonight, please tell me who you are, where you're tuning in from, because it's probably going to be Australia, because I've got a lot of them on my friends list these days, and I've got them on the show a lot. And let's get your stories heard. It's been about 3 years, so all I've got to say is, how have you been since then?
Oh, there's a lot changed and a lot happened since then. Lots and lots has changed and lots has happened. So 3 years ago, if I remember rightly, I was actually running a dog boarding business up until last year when the COVID hit. Although I was writing books also and coaching, my dog business just literally took over. It was amazing. I love animals. I love dogs. So every time I was saying, right, I need to get back into coaching, I was just getting more and more business coming in. So I was like, okay, it was very difficult to walk away because I got to know all my little furry friends so well. I didn't want to say no to them. But since then, obviously because of the whole COVID, it's completely shut down and I moved countries. So and published some more books in between. So happy days.
We'll get into the you becoming an author, writing your books a little later on. So obviously we'll just throw that out there right now. Quick fire questions to just brighten the mood and get some viewers in. Christmas or Easter?
Christmas.
Okay. Favorite time of the year? Besides Christmas, like season-wise?
Summertime. Give me the sun all day.
Absolutely. Now, okay. Favorite type of weather?
It's got to be just when the sun's out. That's when I love it. Just when the sun's shining. Do not give me the rain. Okay. I don't appreciate it.
Okay. Favorite day of the week?
Every day.
See, always catching me out there. Right. All right. And last one. Favorite book author?
Favorite book author? No, you know what? It's got to be. I love Esther Hicks.
Brilliant. Yeah. Fantastic. Now, we're going to start as well. Lead on to. Just tell the viewers a bit about who you are. For people that have never come across you before, they don't know who you are. You're a complete stranger on a podcast with a lunatic, and we just carry on. So, who is Anthea?
Who is Anthea? Anthea is, um, so first of all, I'm a mother of two. Um, I someone who's just quite happy in life. I love the fact that I'm alive and here. That's definitely something. And in business wise, I'm an author, I'm a coach, and I'm someone who just is here and I'm on a mission to inspire people to awaken themselves to their inner power. That's what I'm really all about. I just want everyone to understand who they are, what they are capable of, and what they can do. Um, and I think just before we come on live, you said anything is possible, and absolutely, that's what I'm about. I'm about just being happy, keeping uplifted, keeping a nice clear mind. And just becoming always thriving to be the best version of me. That's where yeah, that's what's really about. And being a mother has been the most amazing thing ever, challenging, but now they're grown up. I've got a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old. So I'm enjoying watching their decisions and where they're going in life as well. So yeah, that's really, I suppose, does that answer the question?
Oh yeah, absolutely, in detail as well.
Oh, good.
So, oh, here we go. We're gonna hit you now. What was Anthea? What was Anthea like in school? Was she
Naughty.
was she the smart ass? Was she the class clown? Was she the comedian?
Yeah, the class clown comedian, stroke
Why?
comedian, and very, very naughty.
Go on. Why? What have you been up to? What do you
I
get up
spent
to?
most of my days outside the school office. I was always sent out of my classroom. Oh, yeah, by the time I'd got to sit down in the classroom, I was kicked out. I don't think I lasted more than 10 minutes. Always. I would have to spend most of my days standing outside the head office, just standing there, so bored with my life. Um, so I used to play truant at school all the time. I used to always bunk, get on get on trains and buses and travel into central London. So I spent if I could get away with like running out of school, I had a thing where I used to we used to have to wear a skirt in the second school I went to, in the secondary school that I went to, we had to wear a kilt. And under my kilt, I'd wear trousers, I'd roll them up, I'd go into school, I'd sign my name, I'd wait for everyone to be in class, wait for the coast to be clear, and I would run, rip my skirt off, pull my trousers like all the way down so that I've got my full trousers on, and I'd jump on the closest bus that I went past, and I'd go off on my journeys for the day. I didn't want to be held down, so I didn't want to stand outside the classroom. I didn't want to be shouted at, so I used to just take myself away from the situation and go and meet people all day. I was reported a couple of times by people around local parks because I'd be sitting around places. Police would come along, take me back to school. So yeah, is that really really bad? um,
I could just imagine it now. Your kids standing behind the camera thing doing that.
Yeah, like when I used to say to them, "You've got to be a bit good at school," I go, "Mum, you was never good at school." I was like, "Yeah, but that's me. This is why I done it for you not to do it. So you must enjoy school." Yeah, so
Okay.
I was quite, yeah, I didn't like being told what to do. I didn't understand why there was always someone trying to tell you whether you could sit down, stand up, wear your jacket, not wear your jacket, what time you could eat, what time you wasn't allowed to eat. I didn't quite get that concept. It didn't make sense. I used to think, well, you're not my parents, so how have you got the right to tell me what to do? I didn't get the concept. But yeah, I was very adventurous, and I'm still very adventurous. I haven't changed in that aspect. I love adventures. I would literally go and get myself lost from the age of about 11 years old. I'd get on buses on weekends when I wasn't at school. I'd just get on a random bus and I'd let it take me to the last destination and then find another random bus, get on that, until I was completely lost and think, right, how do I get home?
Okay. Okay.
So yeah.
If you have a chance of picking the Anthea up who you are now, would you put that Anthea back in school today?
No,
Why?
I don't like the system. If you want me to be blatant.
Don't get me started, Anthea. Do not get me started.
If there was no such thing as a system, and actually we had a bit more, if at school we were asked what do we want, what do we like, what things would we like to do, you know, what would we like to learn, if we were asked those kind of questions, I think I would have thoroughly enjoyed it, because I loved the people I was at school with. We had, you know, when I was at school, we had a lot of fun when I wasn't in lessons. But being that kid that was standing outside a classroom all day wasn't fun. And I just didn't understand why that was how it was dealt with, or having to write lines of, you know, the same sentence, or having to colour in these little squares. And have this whole A4 paper and have to colour in every little square. Like, that's not going to stimulate me in any way, shape, or form, and it didn't. So if I could go back and there was a better system in place, not no system, but a better system in place, I think I would enjoy it. I think I definitely would enjoy it. And if I had the choice to learn the subjects I wanted to learn, I think it would have been fun, because I love learning. There's not a day that goes past now as an adult that I don't learn. I'm always learning something new, and I love that. But school did not pull that out of me. It suppressed that in me, actually, massively. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do interview people who work in the education system. I need to connect you. I really do. I've got likes of Alan Stevens, who was on last night, 11 o'clock at night, UK time. I was on for a good hour with him. So he's from Australia. He cannot stand the education system, and he went off on a rant last night. So I'm like, right, okay. Then we've got UK's Philip Chan. He's a mathematician.
Yes, I know Philip Chan, actually. I've met him a few times.
Oh, he's awesome. He is. He's awesome. We all know his opinion on the education system. And we've even got another Australian. We've got Sharon Chimello. Obviously, people know as Auntie Shazza. She's been on the show regular. And she's a teacher. And she believes the education system needs improving either as well.
Oh, sorry. Have I disappeared?
No, you're still there.
Oh, sorry. Yep, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So for the viewers who are looking at us two, but then reading at the bottom about introduced to the law of attraction. Now, Anthea specializes in the law of attraction, in promoting it. So I'm going to ask you something which you've probably never been asked before, Anthea. What does the law of attraction, what is it, and what does it mean to you?
So law of attraction is one of the universal laws. So you've got law of gravity, law of averages, then you've got the law of attraction. So it is like, in short form, it's like attracts like. So we're energy beings. Well, my perspective, or how I see things, energy beings attracting to ourselves 24/7. So we're like with this big magnet. So our thoughts and our emotions attract to us what we're thinking and what we're feeling continuously. So what it means to me is that it gives me the power and control to think what I want to think and what I want to do in my life. So it makes me very aware of what I'm thinking. It makes me very aware of how I feel. It makes me very aware of, of the people around me, how anything is in my life. Because I know in myself that if I'm thinking really, if you're thinking like thoughts that are very, let's say, detrimental to yourself, then you start feeling that way too. So your thoughts are like everything, like they're so important. And the importance of them is the fact that they do actually have an emotional response to how you feel. So if you're always thinking this is bad, that's bad, I don't like this, I don't like that, you're going to feel like absolute crap, which means you're attracting to you more people, circumstances, events that will mirror how you feel and what you're thinking. So it means a lot to me, because it's helped me define me, who I am, and life in general. And it's nice to be able to have that understanding of actually, and know when I'm feeling down, to see what happens on the outside, because to me everything that happens on the inside is reflected on the outside. So yes, that's what the law of attraction is. It's like for like. It's how you think, how you feel, you attract that same circumstances, people and events to your thoughts and your actions and your emotions.
And that's why I describe this podcast with a title, how our mental health can benefit from the law of attraction, because it can, because everything starts with the mind.
Absolutely, and I so agree with that. I've had many conversations about this, Adam, actually, because like in the workplace at the moment, well, lack of workplace, should we say, where people have been working at home and it's affecting their mental state, and that mental state is your thought process. So, if there's an understanding of how we function as human energy beings, then there's more of a chance that somebody who is going through mental health can actually help themselves. And look, it's not as straightforward as we're saying. It is straightforward as what you think and what you feel, but then obviously there's a lot of subconscious thoughts going on. There's things that we're unaware of in our mind. There's things that have been said to us in the past that we don't realize just sits in our subconscious mind and stops us from doing the things we want, or things that have been said to us that maybe like, you're stupid. If you've heard that a few times, then you feel you're stupid and you want to, let's say you want to do a live, but you're going to feel inside you, you've heard it so many times that you feel you're stupid and you can't do that. Where actually there's a flip around where you can do that. And it's just been programmed in your mind to believe that you can't do that through so many different avenues. So yeah, I totally agree. It's something that it could be introduced very nicely into the mental health world, and an understanding of us in our thought process and our emotions I believe will make a massive difference to people in general.
Exactly. Agreed. Now, okay, that's my cats fighting. Fair enough. Okay. Anyway, hey, you got to be perfectly unexpected these days.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm gonna lead on to what was, because you've gone through challenges yourself, and would you like to talk about them?
Yeah, I think one of the main ones, which will lead into the law of attraction and changing things for yourself, and the fact that we do have the power in us to change things. We have that control in ourselves. I suppose one of the biggest challenges that I faced was being homeless with my kids.
Yeah.
And during that time, that was when I was really tested, and I'd just come across the law of attraction at that point, actually. So at first, when I first heard, wow, it's up to us how we think and how we feel and what comes to us and everything's attracted to us. I from there, once I experienced being homeless, I kind of thought, I felt like I suppose I was a victim. I felt that it was everybody else's fault, but not mine. It couldn't have been my fault. I wouldn't, how can I want to be homeless? How could I attract this to myself in my life? Like, I didn't want to believe that. So I was like, this is all BS, like it can't be true. But then as time went on, I was sleeping in cars, I was sleeping in people's floors, sleeping anywhere I could really. I'd taken my son and taken him to my mum's house to stay there. My daughter stayed with me for a little bit, but then she wanted to stay with me, but in the end I took her to her other nan's house, and I just kind of went through it. And every single day, Adam, I would spend most of them, first to start with, it was just crying and crying and crying. And if I go back a step to say why this happened, I ended up homeless because I was actually moving abroad, and I'd got myself somewhere to live in Cyprus. I'd set the kids up to be in school. I had a property, and I'd rented the property out. And just 2 days, and I'd given up my job that I was working in an office at the time, 9 to 5. I'd given it all up, and I'd heard about the law of attraction. I thought, yeah, I can do anything. I can move abroad. It's something I've always wanted to do. Yeah. So I literally set myself up to do that. 2 days prior to leaving, my daughter's father had said that I was kidnapping her. So I was stopped by the police. They come over to my mum's house and said, if you leave the country, you will be arrested. You'll be arrested for kidnap, which was obviously like, well, this is my daughter. How can I kidnap my own daughter? But there's legality behind it. There's all sorts that go with it. So all of a sudden, from having a work in Cyprus, property in Cyprus, the kids in school in Cyprus, we'd had leaving parties and everything, by the way. I'd told the school that they're leaving, I'd had them signed up in new schools. So then all of a sudden, within like a conversation, I rented out my property, so I had nowhere to go. I'd walked away from my job, so I had no work to go back to. Kids had come out of school, so that was an easy part. I could just put them back in, which was brilliant. But then the biggest problem was I had nowhere to live. So to start with, and then I was in a court case for about 3 years with this. So from there, it was very much frustration, a lot of crying, a lot of anger, a lot of blame, continuous blame. During that time, the authorities tried to take my children from me, to say I was not a fit mother because I had nowhere to live. So I understood from their side, but I understood who I was, and that it wasn't, I was going to get out of it. But I found that the more suppressed I felt, and the more I was blaming people, the more I was getting into this hole, and things were just getting worse and worse. And my mental state was suffering in a really bad way. I wanted to take my life. I didn't see a way out in any way, shape, or form, because
Did you attempt suicide?
I got to the point where I went to a park to go and do it. I didn't quite know what I was going to do, but I knew there was like a pond there. I knew that I could probably drown myself if I really wanted to, but just before I reached out to a friend who actually, I was in an absolute state. I was being sick. I was screaming. I was literally yanking my hair, and he happened to somehow calm me down. But it was obviously a cry for help, and I didn't actually want to do it because I didn't want to leave my children. And he calmed me down, and I then called, and then he called somebody else for me, and then I kind of got out of that state. But once I'd experienced that lowest point, that was when I was like, right, I need to learn what this is. What is this law of attraction? How do I get out of this? How do I feel better in this situation? Like it didn't function in my mind how that could happen. But after, like, every day I'd wake up, wherever I was, whether I was in a car, whether I was on somebody's floor, whether I was on someone's sofa, my thing was go to the library and learn, get on YouTube and learn. So that's what I started doing. And I realized that actually what I need to do is start feeling what it felt like to live in my own home. And that was like my aha moment. I was like, oh, okay, so how do I make my thoughts be the same. So slowly but surely, I started to do things like pick my children up from school, and I started to drive to the area that I wanted to live in. And we would sit outside the houses and we would imagine what it would feel like to be in these houses. I'd imagine, like, what we're going to have for dinner, how we're going to cook it, like what's going to, all these different things that can come into play. I would go to my mum's house or anyone's house I'd go to. I'd pretend that I was putting my key in the door. And I just kept doing this day after day. And I kept on affirming to myself that you have a home. And I just stopped feeling like shit. I started to gain back my power to say, okay, I started forgiving like the whole circumstance that was happening. I forgave my daughter's dad. I'd done a lot of writing and forgiving. I started actually just writing in general. And through that process, I started to feel like, I had my home, and that's how we were living. And between my son, my daughter, and myself, we were all in that space in our minds. We got ourselves to that place. And I think we'd done that for around 3 months. Then all of a sudden, someone came along and said, Anthea, I've heard that you're going through struggles. I hear you have nowhere to live. I'm an estate agent. I can be a guarantor for you. Go and choose your house, and I'll back you up. And I was like, whoa. Well, in between this, I'd sold the property that I had tenants in, and hence why I wasn't able to live there. So I sold that. So I'd able to get the cash in my hand. I started to get ideas to how this is going to happen. So I started working towards those ideas. And each idea was leading me to get my own place. And then right at the end, someone came along and said that to me. So within 3 or 4 months, I think we ended up in our house. But that was after like suffering mentally and emotionally for about 4 or 5 months, until I realized that there's there's things I have to do in order to get to where I need to get to. And one of the biggest things was forgiveness, and not to hate, and not to feel that anger in me, and to let it go. And I had to find different ways to do that. And I did. I was determined to do that, because all I wanted to do was just be at home with my children. I didn't want to live on people's sofas or sleep in cars, or like do things that doesn't make me feel good. But yeah, and eventually that's how I got out of it. And since then, that's when I started. As soon as I got into my house, that was it. I started writing. I wrote my first book. I was just like ecstatic. I wanted to tell people, and show how you can change things. And and it happened again. I ended up homeless again, and I had to understand, how did I end up back in this again? But it was because there were still unresolved issues in me. And sometimes I do feel you have to live things again in order to learn the lessons. Yeah. So and then I just become more and more clear on how to do this. It become more of a fun process, actually. I had a lot more fun with it. And I ended up actually living in a hotel. I was like, I'm not doing this again. I don't care if I don't. I'd done everything in my power to make sure the money was coming in so I can pay for a hotel every night, so that I had my own space. So that time was short-lived, because it was only, I think it happened, I went like that for about 3 months or so. Because I started to understand how I could do this. I thought, I've done it the first time, I can do it again. And since then, I just want to scream at the top of my lungs to everyone that you can actually change any circumstance around. It doesn't matter how bad it looks. You just have to start. You just have to get clear. What do you want? Where are you going? Get rid of any anger that you have towards people, and start to send love out, and actually claim your own power back, man. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And while you were just telling that story, there's only one saying that was going through my mind there. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again to expect a different result. And that's
Yes.
what you did.
Yes. 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 You have to change what you're doing. You have to change what you're thinking. Well, in order to change what you're doing, you change what you're thinking. You change how you feel. And there's this thing that I hear all the time, like, just feel what it feels like. And people go, well, how do I feel what it feels like if I don't have it? We're all actors and actresses. We can do this. It's just a matter of pretending. And as you pretend to yourself, you start to believe it. And once you believe it, that's when you start taking the right actions to do what you need to do. But if you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, it's not going to happen. And then you go, why me? Well, actually, it's not the victim. You're not a victim. You're just not. You can get out of this. It doesn't matter what it is. You can get out of it. And I've shown myself this time and time again.
Exactly. And for the words from Albus Dumbledore from Harry Potter, numbing the pain for a while will actually make it worse until you finally feel it.
I love that. I love that. And it is. Feel it. Allow yourself to feel that feeling, whether it's hurt, anger, feel it. I've done many things where I go to places and I just scream at them. I literally will scream because that just releases so much. And you just feel after like, oh, yes, I feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I was actually going to ask, what was your first expression, your reaction to when you first ever became a mother?
I first became a mother. When I became a mother, when I became pregnant and found out I was going to be a mother.
What was that, sorry?
I said, are you asking when I first found out I was pregnant to become a mother?
No,
or when
no, when you first ever found out you was going to be a mother.
I was confused.
Oh, here we go. Go on. Let's hear this.
I was only 19. So I had plans to travel the world. That's all I wanted to do, was travel the world. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was a bit confused. I was like, this wasn't the plan. I wanted to travel. But straight away, I knew that I felt a connection straight away. And I knew that actually there was a reason for me being pregnant, probably because I was quite a wild child and I needed to be tamed in some way.
So
Otherwise,
before we actually carry on, so with your kids going through their school, were they exactly like you, the wild child?
Nope. They were the complete opposite. Complete opposite. They loved school. They did not miss a day from school. I would say to them sometimes, "Oh, come on, kids, do you want to take a day off so that I can sleep in? I can sleep in this morning." Like, Mum, no, we want to go to school.
Okay.
So yeah, complete opposite. My son, as soon as he finished school, he went straight to college. He done 2 years in college, and straight from college, he went straight to university. Or it must have been 3 years. Yeah, 3 years in college, straight to university, still in university. He loves it. He loves education, as in the school education. He loved all of it. My daughter was the same. She left school and then I think she went to college also, but found it wasn't for her, then ended up going into a work placement. But yeah, it was complete opposite. And my mum used to say to me, wait till you have children, watch what's going to happen. They're going to give you the trouble that you gave me. And we look back now, we say, I had no trouble with them. I was actually blessed with angels. And I know that everyone will say that about their children, but I literally was blessed with angels. They gave me no trouble at any time. I've had the best experience with them, actually the best experience with them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about your books. What are they? Like, what are they called? Where can people find them?
So the first book is called Feel Good and Watch What Happens. and that's a semi-autobiography and a semi-self-help on the law of attraction. And I just kind of tie the life journey with the law of attraction, how each stage I was able to change things to where I am today. Well, up until that point in 2014, and that's on Amazon. Also, the second book was Your Law, the Practical Guide to Applying the Law of Attraction. And that is a 6-step system to help people get in the right mindset to achieve the things they want in life, using obviously the law of attraction. But actually, with that one, I kind of went off the back of The Secret to see what the problems, the secret people were finding with The Secret, to what they felt they weren't getting from it. Because I know a lot of people, I mean, it's a brilliant book, brilliant movie, can't knock anything about it, but people felt quite, well, what do I do next? Or how do I make this work? So I thought I created a system that can actually help you do that. And then I've got another book called How to Reset Your Mindset and Attract It All with the Law of Attraction. And that's also on Amazon. And there's another one that's in the making from what we've done together, actually. And that one, I kind of go in between my titles on that one. So I'm not going to give you a title just yet. I'm going to let that one be a surprise.
Secret.
But it's got another system in it again. And actually, it's actually towards women. I thought it's probably time to go for to help inspire other women and empower women to actually, especially like single parents that feel like they're struggling in life and can't find mentally or emotionally a way out of things. So that one, I'm getting round to it. I'm getting round to doing what I need to do with it. There's been so much happening that it kind of sat on the back burner. But I'm quite happy with that, because when it does come out, boom, I can just give it the best of the best of the best.
Well, since this fourth book you're going to be talking about also what we went through with this course, does that mean I'm going to be featuring in it?
Wow, I could actually feature you in it. Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't, do you know what? Do you know what? I wonder if I did. I don't think I've. Actually, you are featured in it. I actually speak about the book writing club in it. I'm sure I do. I did right at the beginning. I'm sure I referred to everybody. I'm trying to remember. I don't want to say something that's not there, but I'm sure that's what's happening.
I need to get this book.
Yeah, you do. When it comes out,
yeah. When it's out, please let us know, and we'll get.
I will do for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, with you traveling from country to country, which people have seen all over your Facebook lives, especially with you walking on that beach.
I love it.
And walking dogs. Now, and obviously with all the sunshine and sunset, sunrise, all that beautiful. It's beautiful. So, you became a mum, you faced your challenges, you overcame your challenges, and you found the law of attraction. So, a big one. Where is Anthea going next? So, like, where is Anthea going to be in 2 years' time from now?
So, what I see for myself and what I would love to happen is I want to travel around and just do inspirational talks all over the world and just inspire people to literally awaken to their inner power. That's really, I kind of had this days of a vision after what's happened with the whole COVID, because I started thinking, oh, well, how's that going to happen? But actually, I reckon everything will be back on track. We'll be able to have actual live events again, which will be amazing. And if not, then it will just be online. But I see myself just touching people anywhere I can, I'm creating courses at the moment also, like very like nice and easy courses that you can ask yourself questions to where you're at right now, where you're going, how like things that will actually impact you and change your life in a short course. But I've created 3 of them so far. um, I'm working closely with somebody called. He might not want me to say his name, so I won't say his name just in case he doesn't want me to say his name because he keeps telling me I want to be on the back burner. But he's created a company called Tainted Guava Media, and it's a marketing platform. It's where you can create your courses, uh, you can create your books on there, you can do all sorts of things. So we're really working on that and bringing that out there. Um, and yeah, so there'll definitely be another 2 books out, including the one I'm talking about. I'll definitely write another one within the next couple of years, 100%. I'm starting to get itchy for it anyway. I want new content out there now. So yeah, really it is to be
Well,
traveling around.
well, I actually know someone, and she's a professional poet. And in the last year, because obviously it's just been over a year now since lockdown hit us, she's actually published 3 books in a year. So
Well done to her. Excellent. I
yeah,
love
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
love that.
And
I
obviously
love that.
that is Paula Love Clark. She has been on this show also a few times. So yeah,
I love
there you
that.
go.
I
There you
love
go.
that.
Now,
Brilliant.
all I've got to say is thank you for coming on.
Oh, you're so welcome, and thank you for having me. Like, I really, really appreciate it. Like, honestly, it's been fun. It's been good.
You are most welcome. And please don't be a stranger. I will want to bring you on again at some point to talk about the mindset.
Yeah,
Also, um, and and that's it. Thanks to everyone tuned in tonight. Please share this in awareness because law of attraction is critical, especially during these difficult times. And all I've got to say is I will be ending this podcast now. Please tuning in just 2 hours, just under 2 hours from now, when I've got um, Miss Staying Alive. That's how I'm going to be introducing her, Miss Staying Alive, and we're actually going to bring humour to mental health. So if you want to up for a laugh tonight, tune in.
lovely. I'll be tuning in.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's 8:10 now. I'm live at 10 p.m.
Excellent,
live.
excellent, excellent, excellent.
So there you go
But
then.
Adam,
Now that
listen, thank you so much. And before we go, I want to say that I've watched your growth too, and I think like I'm really proud of where you're going, what you've achieved, what we're doing right now. The fact that you're reaching so many people and you're making mental health being like you just said, just have humor behind it. Don't take it too seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously. Play around with with just life and be happy and try and find things to make yourself happy. And that's what you're doing. Like when I first spoke to you again, you said, it's my passion. I love it. And I think that's what everyone, if we all try to go for the things we're passionate about and it makes us want to get out of bed in the morning and you naturally start changing the way you think because you're excited, right? So I just want to say well done to you.
thank you. And you won't sit there and think just 2 years ago, March 2019, I attempted suicide.
Wow. Wow. And this is what this
I was
is.
at my lowest.
And now look at you today. It's like, you know, that's why I said we spoke about this before about writing a book, and that story needs to be out there because you are a massive inspiration to people. You definitely inspire me. You definitely give me the go for everything. So honestly, anyone can change their life, Adam, and we've got to take these limits off ourselves, just get rid of these limits and just know we can find what you're passionate about and just go in and do it. And look, 2 years down the line, would you think of doing that now?
No, no,
Right.
no.
And what,
Ever since I gave myself that reality check, kicked myself up the arse, and started doing these podcasts, yeah, of course, my anxiety levels were skyrocketing. But mental health field, people saying if I get in there, it's going to be tough and I'm going to be all over the place. You know what? At first, yes, it is tough. Being in the mental health field, it is tough. But I've never looked back and I enjoy it.
yay! And that's what it's about. Look, when you light up when you talk about it itself, because it is a passion. So, and people say, how do I find my passion? Just try things out and you will find what you're passionate about. Or I tell you what, a good one is to think of when you were a child, what did you enjoy doing? Like, there's so many things that we've done as children because our vision was so alive. We had dreams, and then our dreams get suppressed by the adults around us. But remembering what you wanted,
See,
who
mine
you
was
are,
different. Mine was different, but oh well, that's another conversation.
another conversation. Absolutely, absolutely.
And on
Um,
that, yeah. So I'm going to end this podcast now. Please tune in at 10 p.m. I'm starving. I've not eaten all day, so I'm going to get myself some grub.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Adam, see you soon.
Yes, and there, on that note, is the podcast ended.